Happy Friday, everybody. Jim Williams, Sean Miller, Amedeus with us. Guys, busy week, and we have four very important, excuse me, so much, I'm choked up, football games, and then, of course, a slew, which is a technical term, of great soccer. So, boys, Jacksonville gets the first opportunity against Kansas City tomorrow.
Yeah, Kansas City, they're not very good against the spread, which means they play close games or they play games closer than the spread thinks it'll be. So, there's a chance this game is, competitive. If Jacksonville plays the way they did against the Chargers, they'll get blown out. If Jacksonville plays the way they did against the Chargers in the second half, they have a chance. Well, it's just
which half do you take?
Yeah, it's it's a tall challenge to begin with, but they're in the game, so they have a chance. Interesting to see that one. And I don't know, Amadeus, if you think the Jags have a chance there, but you're on Kansas City.
It's a tough one. I don't like the big spread, but I mean the Chiefs already have a 10-point win over the Jaguars earlier this year.
Yes.
That one was in Arrowhead too. So I mean it's tough. It's tough to see anything different happening here, but I guess we'll find out. Not my favorite game, really.
I would have to say that to me, Jacksonville is about a year ahead of time.
Yeah.
Not quite. The depth of the AFC is so good at the top that they're not quite there yet. They don't have the depth that the Bills, the Bengals, or Kansas City has. So I find this being one of those games where, just like Sean, you just said, it's either going to be very close because, Jacksonville, not as much as Jacksonville keeps it close as Kansas City allows Jacksonville to keep it. Or it's going to be, Jacksonville might as well bust out at halftime and head to the airport because it's going to be so far behind. So they could not get out to the kind of start they got out against the Chargers and ever expect to beat Kansas City.
I have a feeling that the Chiefs are going to make a statement, a little bit of a statement with the other two teams playing there. Mahomes maybe. I just think it could be like 35-10, something like that. Jacksonville, like you said, is a year ahead of schedule, I think, and they've already won a playoff game. I think if they compete, and they, I don't know if they don't get blown out, maybe it would be almost a win for them. If it's 31-17, something like that. Hey, listen, we competed, we got there, we have something to build on for next year. So, they are good, they got talent. So, but this Chiefs team is, I think, offensively is gonna throw down a marker here.
In the early game that they played, Kansas City beat Jacksonville 27-17 at home. Mahomes threw for 331 yards, 4 touchdowns. The Chiefs gained over 500 yards on the Jacksonville defense. So, that's putting some serious numbers on the board. That 31-30 Lawrence.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was 27-10 the whole game, and then the Jaguars scored in the final 5 minutes to kind of make it 20. No, it was 20-0 before the Jaguars scored with 11 seconds to go in the first half. So, I mean, they were really never in the game. They were just kind of in the fringes. They kicked a field goal in the third quarter, and then the Chiefs, put it away basically late in the third. But the Chiefs, I think they're one of these teams in the regular season that they sometimes will do enough to win the game, I'm not really worried about how much they win by, but in the playoffs, maybe is a little bit different. If I think if they can get up early here, maybe rest some players, for next week, that would be pretty big. So extra day rest. Yeah, look, I think they're in good shape.
Well, Kansas City's been in the last 5 AFC championship games. So they must they must know how to do something. Sean, where you are in the greater Philadelphia area, there is a massive buzz going on as the Eagles play against the Giants. That's going to be a heck of a link tomorrow night.
Yeah. I try to tune it out, to be honest, because the Eagles fans are kind of annoying sometimes. But I'm not an Eagles fan, so I'm always happy. The Philly teams win for my dad and stuff. So it's crazy here. So
Fly Eagles flies everywhere. So this has this has a chance, I think, of being a close game only because of the Giants. I think the Giants' defense is good enough to keep it close. Offensively, they can't match Philadelphia. And Philadelphia, by the way, just not for nothing, Philadelphia has a good defense too.
Yeah, when you look at the matchup, honestly, I don't think enough people are really talking about this. But the Philadelphia scoring defense is number 1 in the league. Or they're against the pass, they're number 1 in the league. They're number 1 in the league against the pass. Their defense doesn't allow a lot of points. They didn't play great at the end of the season, but they didn't have to because they'd already locked everything up with all the things. And Jalen Hurts was out. Hurts is not going to be any healthier than he is the rest of the year.
Right.
Tomorrow night. So, if Hurts plays well and the Eagles offense, scores some points, I just don't think the Giants are going to be able to score enough points. Like, I don't think the Giants can score 28 points in this game. If they're going to win, it's going to be like 20-17, something like that. So they're going to have to hold the Eagles down. But, the third time thing, playing a team for the third time, but I don't think the Giants have enough offense. Now the line is 7.5, which is a little bit high, to be honest. It's still over that touchdown. So I know some people are taking the Giants with that line, but that's just with the 7.5. I don't think the Giants win the game.
No, but the points are very alluring, I guess would be the best way of putting it. You getting that kind of points in a game where you expect it to stay close might be a way to go. I don't think personally I would bet this game, but that's just me. Amedeus, what do you think?
Yeah, again, I don't really like the Saturday games too much. It's I think Sean hit it on the nail. The Eagles should win this game, no problem. But the 7.5 is not it's not a comfortable number to take the Eagles at. You're asking them, to win by more than a touchdown now, or 8 points if something wacky happens. But it's basically a touchdown and a field goal. And I don't know, because the Giants, like you guys said, they're that kind of scrappy team. If they're going to win this game, they're going to keep it within a field goal the entire time. So either the game stays super close and the Giants cover, or the Eagles just blow their doors off right from the start.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, I think.
Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, it's not my favorite game to bet. Once again, looking at it, just because the line is, it's still over a touchdown. To me, it's a little bit too much in these playoff games. I don't really, to be honest. I mean, all these lines are a little bit goofy. I don't know why the Bills are 5.5. I know the 49ers are minus 4. I mean, that seems to me the easiest game to bet. But I just don't love the line. It could go either way. I mean, I think the Eagles win the game, whether or not the game is close or not.
Yeah.
Last 8 points. So I don't see the Giants winning the game.
No, it's just a matter of how much.
Yeah.
And it's it should be it should be a fun game to watch, frankly. It'll be entertaining. Let's see what we got. We got we move over to the Bengals and the Bills on Sunday. That's the first game. Amedeus, you like and that's a game where we talked yesterday where Cincinnati's probably pissed off.
Yeah, the Bengals are going to win this game outright. Take the points with them. I don't see why it would be that much. And like I said yesterday, that I agree with Sean in the sense this should be on a neutral site, because if the Bengals, if they play that game and the Bengals beat the Bills, well, then the Bengals have the home advantage over the Bills. So I think the Bengals just coming into this game pissed off. They feel like they got the short end of the stick, okay? Because what they did that night, really, it was them helping Buffalo out that night, because I'm sure everybody was shocked on the field and couldn't continue, but more so the Bills, because that's their teammate. They see him every single day. Like the Bengals probably felt something similar, but not as much in the sense just because they don't know the player as well. And I think they did it for the Bills. Let's postpone the game. Neither of us are really in the shape to play. And, they ended up getting screwed because, there was the thing with the division. If they had lost to the Ravens, how they were going to do that. And that pissed them off because they thought, even if the Ravens beat us, we could have beat the Bills and won the division. So it just seems like they look at it like they got the short end of the stick on everything, the division race, the number 1 seed, all that. So I see them coming into this game pissed off. I think they're the better team. I thought they were going to win that game a few weeks ago, and they're probably going to win this one.
The thing too, remember in that one with Cincinnati and Buffalo played a terrible game against Miami. I mean, I'm not going to give Miami's not that good.
Unless Skylar Thompson's the next Tom Brady, I don't understand why that game was so close.
No, and defense let up with what was it, 2 minutes to go in the first half, and Miami just walked in and picked up tied the game at 17. They couldn't hang with them in the second half. That's fine, but this has been a inconsistent Buffalo team that all year wins. No question about their winning ability. It's just how they win is pretty ugly, and you can't play that way against a inspired, let's put it that way, Cincinnati Bengals team, who, oh, by the way, just happened to be defending AFC champions.
That's the other thing too, right? Like everybody at the beginning of the season discounted this team. They were like, oh, they went to the Super Bowl, but they're really not that good. They're not going to be back this year. And everybody had it wrong because everybody had the Rams going back to the Super Bowl, and it was the other way around. The Rams were the team to just fall on their face after, while the Bengals continued to get going. And, like I said, they had the same season this year as they did last year, in the sense where they got off to a really mediocre start, flew under the radar for the first half of the season. So then we get to the point where, all these teams like the Eagles and the Chiefs are emerging as dominant, and everyone's talking about them. but quietly the Bengals are, start to win 6, 7, 8 games in a row towards the end of the season, and all of a sudden, they're one of the best teams in the AFC. So I think nothing's changed with this Bengals team. They look at themselves like, we're the AFC champions. We're the best team in the AFC. Nobody talks about us. Nobody gives us respect. Now everybody's giving us the short end of the stick on this home field advantage stuff. It's like they don't want us in the playoffs.
Well, the other thing too, in this situation with Kansas City, is that I'm sorry, not Kansas City, Cincinnati, is that Mike Brown and the Brown, family are notoriously cheap, and but in the offseason they went out and they addressed the needs of this team, and they spent money. And they got them the offensive line so that, Joe Burrows isn't spending most of his time running for his life. So, yeah, and it took a little while for them to get on, integrate these new pieces of the puzzle into the game plan. But once they did, they've been lights out. So, again, disrespecting the Bengals is not a good opportunity. It's not a good plan.
Yeah. And, I think doing that by the owners shows you they know we have the team to go out there and win. We just have to, fix up those areas. And if they are really as cheap as you said they are, then it makes perfect sense. Let's go out and spend the money now in the areas we need so we can win the Super Bowl in Joe Burrow's rookie contract. And
right.
Then, before that gets expired. And then once he's won the Super Bowl, if you really don't want to pay him the money, which he obviously deserves it, I mean, you could trade him away or whatever, let someone else sign him. But it makes sense. If you can win a Super Bowl with the quarterback's rookie contract, it's the best possible scenario.
And that's where we were jokingly talking about the 49ers, because as we move into Dallas and the 49ers, you got a rookie contract that's a real rookie contract. I mean, we're talking about, a barely making minimum salary for the league contract with Brock Purdy. So Dallas and the 49ers for a record 9th time in the playoffs. These two teams were dominant in the late 80s and early 90s. Fantastic football teams, fantastic games. The catch, when Montana throws it to Dwight Clark that puts in the Super Bowl. So a phenomenal, I forget how long it was, but I remember a touchdown run, which was in excess of 50 yards by Steve Young to beat the Dallas Cowboys. So those were some pretty good teams and some pretty good games, and now we get a rematch of a playoff. What used to be a playoff. What used to be a playoff yearly event hasn't happened in quite a while, and now in the San Francisco Bay Area, it's going to be the Niners and the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, I think that'll be a pretty good game. 49ers are I still think the 49ers are the best team in the league at this point. Christian McCaffrey's made them so much more dynamic. And I think, we'll see which Dak shows up. Is it the Dak from the other day or is it the real Dak? So, if the real Dak shows up, this game could be ugly.
The one thing too here about the 49ers, and you brought up the Christian McCaffrey a little bit. If you look, McCaffrey and George Kittle, the tight end, are key, because if you look at it from standpoint of, you got a rookie quarterback, Brock Purdy, who hasn't, didn't really run the offense at all until, about 5 or 6 weeks ago. And giving him those security blankets of a running back who can catch the ball and run, as well as a tight end who can block and catch the ball, means that he can get the ball out of his hands faster because he's not throwing downfield as much. And so he can loosen that defense, and then when he needs to throw downfield, this kid can make all the throws, and he has the time to do it. So I think you're looking at a learning curve here where he's getting really good and kind of improving week after week after week because of guys like Christian McCaffrey, who's going to get you 100 yards on the ground as a running back and maybe an additional 100 yards as a receiver. And then George Kittle's on, pretty much our world.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing that I think this is the team that's best set up to go on the road as well, and maybe to a potential Philadelphian win, just because of all the stuff they can do. They can play defense. Remember last year on the road in LA, they had they were winning in the fourth quarter till the Rams came back. So yeah, this team I think is the best set up to go on the road, and then if the Giants do win, they're going to get the home game, and that should be pretty straightforward.
It's I forget, to your point on last year, I forget the quarterback's name who was playing, but he slipped, and they hit a bomb on it, and they went ahead on a long pass, which had that guy been able to stay on his feet. You never know. I mean, I'm not going to say that he would have blocked it or done it, or picked it off. Who knows? But uncontested, it was a pretty easy catch. So it'll be fun. So that's our 4 games for the weekend on the NFL side. What do we have to look forward to in the ELP and also in other soccer leagues around the world over the weekend?
Well, I know Sean was loving the first 45 minutes of that match yesterday. And then you want to talk the tale of two halves.
Game?
Yeah, look, both games yesterday. I had City and City -1.5 and Real Madrid. I mean, both teams were down 2-0 at halftime, and both teams went crazy in the second half. City scored 4 goals in the second half, and Real Madrid scored 3. But it's Tottenham is. First of all, they're dominant. City dominated the first half. Tottenham scored. Ederson, I don't know what he's doing. He's got that in him. Both keepers yesterday were atrocious. He's got that in him.
I think Lloris is just bad in general.
He let him back in with that near post. They scored the near post.
The Mahrez goal. I don't know how you don't stop that.
You got it.
It's like a foot between you and the post.
You can't get beat at the near post there. That's what De Gea has done over the years. City, basically saved its season, I think, there. With that, so Tottenham stinks. I won't hear otherwise. They capitulated there. As soon as it got to 2-2, there was only one winner there. They have a huge game on Monday now against Fulham. When you look at the Premier League table here.
Yeah, they had a chance to spread the gap to 5 between 5th and Fulham, and now they're sitting right there with them.
Now Fulham jumps ahead of them, and they're even on games played here. So Fulham jumps ahead of Tottenham on Monday if they beat them.
And is that in Fulham?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yep. And
be tough.
Yeah, look, I mean the teams ahead of Newcastle and United, Manchester United, the Run True United, and Newcastle, 39 and 38 points on 19 games. So, Arsenal's still on 18 games here with a 5-point gap. So, obviously huge.
Tottenham's got 20 games played in there.
Yeah. Manchester City is going to be rooting for United on Sunday. But, yeah, look, it's a lot of big games. But how about today? there's something that hasn't happened in 2.5 months. The Bundesliga is back.
It's back.
RB, by the way, Joe Wiz says he'll be on in about 15 minutes to talk about some of the games here. So
Okay.
the Bayern Munich and RB Leipzig here first.
A rare German club sighting.
Yeah. Hey, look, it is, it is a pretty big game. I mean, Leipzig on, third place right now at 28 points. The points totals here are a little bit crazy. Bayern Munich with 34 points after 15 matches with a plus 36 goal difference. Second place has plus 8. No team in the league has more than a plus 9 goal difference other than Bayern Munich, who's plus 36.
Wow.
And with a plus 36 goal difference in 15 games, they've still dropped points in 5 matches, which is crazy. So it's either 5-0 or they draw.
How do you do that?
It's just crazy. Yeah. So no, it's a good game. Leipzig at home. I mean, we'll see, how both teams are. Munich needs to start ramping this up here quickly because they have a massive tie with PSG coming up here in February. So I think they need to kind of start ramping up. They had a friendly last week. I think it was 4-4 against Salzburg. So. It's interesting to see.
Yeah, both teams were in great form before the break. I think each have won like their last 9 straight or something like that. But this it's a huge match for sure. But this might be one of those, it's the first match back from a very long break. Both teams should be well rested here, and I think this might be one of those statement matches that you always say Bayern loves to do, Sean.
Really. They have these, they have these every once in a while when these teams step up, Freiburg and. Hey, we're the new kid on the block. RB Leipzig, Dortmund, and they smack them down, and they have a chance here to do that right out of the gate and just reestablish, their authority on the league. So I think that's a there's a good chance that it's interesting because Bayern's basically about even money. I mean, it's about minus 110, minus 115. So it's pretty interesting.
And if Leipzig beats them, they cut it down to basically 3 points because they're only 6 points ahead. So
yeah,
something like that.
Yeah. So big game.
Yeah, it's they cut it to 3. They would be on 31 points. Like nobody in the world thinks Bayern Munich's going to lose this league. The thing now, they're on. They've only played 15 matches here. And remember, there's only 18 teams in the top flight. So they only play 34. So there's 19 games left. So, it's going to be a sprint here. And people are, it's going to be teams that have to be a little bit deeper. And nobody in that league is deeper than Munich. So, it's going to be probably Munich will win the league there. I mean, but from second to 8th, second to 9th is really from 3rd to 9th are only separated by 6 points. So 3rd to 8th. So that's going to be interesting because the Champions League spots right now are Munich, Freiburg, Leipzig, and Frankfurt with Union Berlin and Dortmund trailing. But Freiburg is in the Europa League round of 16 because they won their group, and Leipzig is playing in the Champions League, and Frankfurt's playing in the Champions League round of 16. So, it's going to be interesting to see how that league plays out. I'm not going to be watching or betting it, but it'll be interesting to see how it plays out, on live score. I'll be paying attention to the Premier League, to be honest. So, maybe if there's no games on that day or something like that, I might watch it. But the Premier League, the first game Saturday is massive. Talk about Bundesliga teams. It's a battle of
derby.
It's a battle of 9th and 10th. as Liverpool takes on Chelsea to stay in the top half of the table.
Oh, the mediocre derby, actually.
Chelsea's just since we started the show, Chelsea bought 3 more players. They bought that guy from PSV, Nani Makuli or whatever his name is, and so they have now 12 wingers. They're trying to buy Casado. I just to be honest, I can't understand how this is how they're just buying all
They
these.
already bought Mudryk.
Are they actually now going out and buying the rights to some of these players' children when they grow up and play?
Oh, it's that's what they said. They just Todd Bowley just announced he's trying to bid for Manchester United because that guy, the Ineos guy, put a bid in for it. So he tried to. They don't even do any of their own scouting, man. They just buy They buy. Oh, Arsenal's in for that guy. Let's buy this guy.
They picked up
let's buy this guy.
FIFA 2023.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, they just keep
spend.
Chelsea's facing huge Champions League headache as only 3 of 6 new signings from 200 million transfer binge can play. João Felix. They've already signed 6 players in the winter, which is absolutely ridiculous. They've already spent 200 million this winter. But only João Felix can play, but they can only sign a couple more. They can only put a couple more players on there, so it's ridiculous. What's up, guys? Sean, what about Burnley today? Yeah, Bill. It's an interesting game there. West Brom is Burnley at home is always a pretty good shot. West Brom is playing well. They're in the playoff places, but this Burnley team is pretty good. I think Sheffield United is a pretty decent shout as well. Let's see what the odds are on them. They're minus 150. Sheffield United is in second right now. Right now in the championship, Burnley's on 59 points with only 2 losses in 27 matches, which is pretty impressive. And 28 goal difference. Sheffield United plus 23 goal difference, 54 points. And then there's a 11-point gap back to third. West Brom right now 41 points, so 18 points worse off than Burnley. And they're okay on the road. Burnley is unbeaten at home with a plus 19 goal difference, so I would definitely like that. Sheffield United is the second best team on the road. Hull City is okay on the road, minus 1 goal difference. So, I think both those 2 teams, Sheffield United and Burnley, are pretty decent shouts today. That parlay pays about plus 280. So that could be pretty good. But yeah, the championship is pretty interesting today. Not a lot of other games though. So, other than the Bundesliga, but yeah, Liverpool, Chelsea. I don't know. What, you have a feeling for that game there, or is that just are you not taking any chances on that game?
Oh, well, there's going to be shenanigans, the games at Anfield. So you might just have to take the shot on Liverpool here since both teams have been awful. But
Chelsea,
I don't know.
Chelsea and draw is plus 102. I mean, it's just Liverpool is not great. No problem, Bill.
No, they're not, but they're at home, which means they'll get special treatment.
Brighton's playing Leicester. Bournemouth, Nottingham Forest. Bournemouth there at plus 160 against Nottingham Forest. I don't know about that line at all. To be honest, I would rather probably take a shot with Nottingham Forest there. I mean, I think Bournemouth is in a lot of trouble. Forest has a chance here. Right now they're in 13th place with a win would be all 8 clear of the drop zone, something like that. It's a big chance for Forest.
Hey, by the way, if you happen to be in your Orlando area tomorrow, at Universal, Premier League is having a morning fan fest, so you'll be able to watch the pregame show live on stage there, and then there'll be a watch party for all the games that they'll be airing tomorrow on the NBC family of networks. So if you happen to be in Orlando tomorrow or in that general area and want to join the Premier League Fan Fest, drop on by.
Yeah, it's there's interesting games. Southampton and Aston Villa, I think it's pretty interesting. Leicester City, Brighton. Brighton at +100. I mean, that's an interesting game for Brighton. If they're a legit top, European club, they want to get into Europe. They got to get a result there at Leicester City. I think maybe the best game of the day is the El Sacico, West Ham and Everton. Every time I look at these odds, West Ham -143, they stink. They've lost their last 3 games as a favorite, which there haven't been a lot of this year. Should they be -143 against anybody? The crazy thing to me is, when you see, minus, let me see another. So Arsenal's -130, Manchester United's 325, right? This game, West Ham is -143, Everton's +410 here. I don't understand the line for this. Like, Everton and draw is, +112. At that price, +410. I might be tempted to throw a couple dollars on Everton. I wouldn't throw more than like $20 on it, but like at that price, 20 is going to bring you back 100. What the hell? I mean, both teams stink. I mean, I don't think, West Ham, and West Ham, they're clearly under pressure. Moyes is clearly under pressure. I mean, he could be maybe make a mistake. There maybe there's a red card that changes the game. I don't know. I just think Everton at +410 there offers you some decent. Now, I don't know how you feel about that, Amedeus. Like with this, I mean, the line is weird for me.
Yeah, I'm not.
I know you're probably not backing that game.
We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna have to look into it a little more, but yeah, like West Ham, I got -125 for West Ham, but still,
What do you have for Everton?
+375.
You see, that's weird. Like the Arsenal line is -130 and United is +325. So you would think that Everton would be closer to like 300 or something like that, and they're like 375 +400.
Yeah, and even the draw is actually the draw is about the same. I would say I got 275.
Everton and draw to me in a game like this where both teams are going to be scared to lose because the managers might get sacked. Like, man, that plus money is crazy to me. I don't know. I mean, it's not the worst. It's not the best game to bet. I'll say that. Let's see what Bill says. I was very tempted to hit Man City at the half at +500. Yeah, look, Bill, when you're watching that game, City was dominating, and it was just like, Ederson's dopey play out of the back, and then that fluky kind of goal there at halftime, and Tottenham's 2-0. And like Pep was like fuming. If you saw, I don't know if you watched the post game, Joe. He was so mad. He like walked off like after a win, and he's just like ripping everybody.
I was gonna say you got the win. Like I noticed that like right after halftime they didn't. So they scored, I think, about 8 minutes into the second half, but
yeah,
right like 2 or 3 minutes in, Pep he tells De Bruyne and Foden and a few others to start warming up. And you see them start to warm up like right on the sidelines. And all of a sudden they score the goal like 3 minutes later.
They scored 2 goals and they scored in the 51st and 53rd minute. And as soon as that goal went in, as soon as the first goal went in, you're like, all right, they're back in it. And then the second goal goes in like right away. And you're like, there's no other team that's going to win here. When Wiz comes on, I'll tell him, because we gave out, City -1.5 and Real Madrid. And he texted me and he's like, man, that's a terror. Like, he's like, I forget what he said. He's like, oh, good call on City today or something like that. And I was like, they're winning right now. What are you talking about? They just scored 3 goals in like 10 minutes. And he goes, yeah, but we got him 1.5. I was like, don't worry about it, man. City, don't worry about it. Tottenham's going to push players forward, and we're going to hit them on the break. And it came, of course. And, before they scored the 4th goal in the 90th minute, they had 20 chances to score the goal. I mean, these games play out, I never, when City falls behind like that early in the game, I'm never really like super worried. Here we go. And then we got Joe Wiz. Wait, his device is not connected. It says we're waiting for him to come on here, but and then the same thing with the Real Madrid game yesterday. It was the same thing. It was 2-0, and you're just like, look, man, you gotta relax. They're gonna come back into it. So there we go.
Patience.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, good morning.
Joe, we're just talking about the Manchester City game yesterday when they were down 2-0 at halftime, and they scored the 3 goals to get back in it. And I know, the big NFL weekend, but yesterday we gave out City and Real Madrid, and both came back big there in the second half for us.
Yeah, thanks for those picks, by the way. I was running late, and I called you up, and I said, "Genius, give me some winners. Call your buddies up there," and you came through like clockwork. So hopefully we can. That's the start of a big weekend for us.
Yeah, we got Jim and Amadeus here, so we're talking. I know huge NFL weekend for us here on. Well, first of all, we'll be on ESPN on Saturday morning and Sunday morning to talk about these games. Are you excited for these games this weekend?
Absolutely. New York is rocking right now. It's the biggest game in over a decade here. It's been since 2011 when the Giants have been in the divisional playoffs here. And, hey, this is what we live for, right? Football. I know you guys love soccer, but everybody loves NFL, and hopefully we can make people some money.
Amadeus, you want to ask him some questions?
Oh yeah, I want to know his thoughts on the Cowboys 49ers game, but that's at the end of the list. We'll let him run through the list first. I want to hear what he's got to say on all of these games.
Great. So tomorrow, the first game kicks off at 4:30, as you know, in Arrowhead Stadium. And, we talked about that game right now. The line we see here is at 9. I wouldn't be surprised if this line goes up higher. I mean, the public is on Kansas City. I was just watching Sports Center on ESPN, and everybody and their grandmother picked Kansas City in this game here. And, I like to be the contrarian here. And, going with Kansas City, obviously they are the number 1 seed, and they deserve to be. But, when you take a look at their credentials, they're not the best spread record team in the postseason. In the playoffs, they're just 2-5 against the spread. And this year at Arrowhead, they were just 2-6 against the spread. And we know they have Mahomes passing for 5,250 yards. But I think there's going to be a high-scoring game. But if I can get 10 with Jacksonville, I would consider taking the Jags plus the 10. But my main inclination in this game would be the total. I think it's going to be a high-scoring affair. I think that both teams are going to go back and forth up and down the field, even bigger than they went when they met Week 10 when Jacksonville won 27-17.
Joe,
for the record, though, you're saying Kansas City's still going to win. It's just
I'm expecting the Chiefs to win, and whenever but I'm taking the Jags plus the 10. Yeah, I like the 10.
Joe, Bill McDonald has a question. He says, do you sometimes play teasers, like tease Kansas City and Philly down or the Bengals up? Is that something that you would maybe do in some of these games?
Personally, myself, I'm old school, and we didn't mess around much with the teasers and the prop bets. Once in a while I'll do that, but normally there's 4 games, 2 tomorrow and 2 on Sunday. I normally just go with the straight bets because once you get involved with the teasers, you got more bets involved. I try and limit the amount of exposure that you have out there, it's not the best of the 4 games, but I do lean towards the over in this game here, and if I can get Jacksonville plus 10, I think that they have a shot to cover the spread.
This
you're on the over on that though, right, Jeff?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
The Philadelphia game, obviously down here, we're talking about how it's been rocking in Philadelphia, and I know New York has been rocking because they haven't had a game in a long time since 2011. They've been in this game. You excited to watch this? And the line is a little high, 7.5.
Yeah, it's interesting, Sean, when you look at this game here. I had a chance. I gave my tickets away. People thought I was nuts giving away the game, giving away the tickets to the game. I'd rather sit home and watch the game or maybe be at the racetrack and go in between races and watch the game. But when you take a look at it here, the big question mark is nobody knows exactly what the status of Jalen Hurts is. Hey, he's not on the injury list, but what does that mean? We really don't know. What we do know about the Giants, though, they have the best spread record in the entire NFL right now. Giants are 10-7-1, but their spread records 14-4 against the spread. That's all I care about here. I think this is going to be a 1-possession game here. Maybe Philadelphia does win, but it wouldn't shock me if the Giants win. If the Giants play as well as they did, I know the Vikings are a different breed because they're the 31st defense. Philadelphia has the number one seed, and their defense is really good here. But Eagles were 0-4 against this spread in the last 4 games. They did not look impressive in their last game, and they needed that game to secure the number 1 seed, and they had Jalen Hurts in there. He did not look good. When you look at it here, the Giants had their 3rd strings in there, and they still, hung in there. They lost 22-16 here. I just don't trust the Eagles with their situation with Jalen Hurts. And right now, the Giants are peaking at the right time, and it's always who gets hot at the right time. And I think that the Giants have a shot, to possibly win this game. But I'm definitely taking the points.
Sunday's games, I think, are really intriguing. Obviously, the Buffalo they're already selling tickets for Buffalo in the to play in the AFC Championship game in Atlanta if the Chiefs win as well. And nobody's talking about the Cincinnati Bengals, the AFC champions here, and the line is 5.5. I think that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, and you know what's interesting, Sean, you and I had talked about it because our show airs on 98.7 FM in New York tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. We had talked about this game. I said, do the Bengals need any more motivation than I'm going to send them a tweet to Joe Burrow and say, hey, you're invited to the AFC championship game, but your team isn't going to be there, okay? It's going to be Buffalo and Kansas City, and you're invited to come hang out as a fan in Atlanta. I mean, they put the tickets up for sale. I mean, if there's any motivation that the Bengals need, not that they need anything more than that, but the Bengals are another team here. They have done nothing but win, and they have the 2nd best spread record in all of NFL. It's 70%, 12-5 against the spread, and the Buffalo Bills have not looked good in the last 2 weeks. Miami was able to do almost. It's hard to believe that Miami almost beat the Buffalo Bills in Orchard Park. Anytime you can get Joe Burrow with points and a team that has won 9 in a row, I'm on the dog in this game.
Amedeus, you want to ask him about your game here?
Yeah. Also, I just wanted to ask about the Bengals-Bills game. One of the things I was saying, Joe, was that don't you think they have even you make a great point with the tickets up for sale already, but I feel like they have even more motivation just because of the fact that they feel like they got the short end of the stick on all of this, with the division, really, this game should be on a neutral site was something that Sean mentioned, and I totally agree with because they looked like they were going to beat the Bills a few weeks ago, and if they do go on to beat the Bills, they have the home advantage here. So, do you think that also adds extra fuel to the tank for the Bengals?
Yeah, there's no doubt that the Bengals got shorthanded. They're downplaying it a little bit with the DeMar Hamlin situation because they don't want to turn that into it. But listen, whether the Bengals play at home or on the road, I think that this game here is going to be a very close game, and I'd be surprised. It wouldn't shock me at all if they win the game outright. I mean, I think the line here, is a little whacked. I had to project it at, I had Buffalo when I put the line out. I had put it at 2.5 when I first put the matchup up last week, and when I saw the line of 4.5, and I've seen some 5.5s and even going up to 6 here. The public is on Buffalo because the Bengals did not look that impressive last week either. I mean, who knows if the Bengals didn't get that 98-yard return by Sam Hubbard, if they would have recovered to beat the Ravens. The Ravens had the Bengals almost beat in that game, but be that as it may, Bengals have all the incentive in the world, and hey, the Super Bowl's on the line here. The AFC Championship game is next, so they don't really need any more, and they got the weapons with Mixon, Higgins, and Jamar Chase. Listen, they've won 9 in a row, and the second best spread record in all of NFL. And after seeing Buffalo play last week, there's only one way to go, and that's the dog.
I like that. I like that a lot. And
yeah,
then,
and this Dallas. Is it going to be Dak Prescott from the other day would look like Superman, or is it going to be the Dak Prescott from last year against the 49ers who couldn't get it done at home out in Santa Clara?
Yeah, I mean, asking the Dallas Cowboys to get their second playoff win since 1992 on the road is asking a lot. They got their first one in Tampa, but listen, let's face it, Tampa was not that good this year, and they were very fortunate to get into the postseason with the losing record here. I mean, San Francisco is the real deal. I mean, they've won 11 in a row. Their last loss was prior to Halloween on October 23rd. 6 of the last 7 games have gone over. They've scored 33 or more points in those games here. 11 double-digit wins. They've held 14 opponents to 19 points or less. Need I say more? I think the 49ers roll over the Cowboys here. The biggest difference is the defense. San Francisco has a defense. Dallas doesn't. Let's not get fooled by Dallas's win. Dak Prescott played his best game of the season, but remember the week before that when they played in Washington against the Commanders, they looked terrible. And just because they had one good game against an aging Brady, and even if Brady doesn't throw that interception late, early in the first quarter, who knows what the outcome of that game would have been here. But I'm taking San Francisco. The line's at 3.5. And Sean, you and I always talk about the hook. I will buy the half point, and that's available at many sports books in the U.S. So just in case if San Fran does win by 3 and it's a push, I can live with that. So I always tell people be careful with the 3.5. So one of the few favorites I'm playing this weekend, I'm on the San Francisco 49ers, but I'm buying it down to -3 instead of 3.5.
Hey, Joe,
Okay.
with that game on Monday night, the Bucks and the Cowboys, I was trying to explain to a lot of people, when you're behind, which Tampa Bay got behind early, you tend to take chances on defense. And 3 or 4 of those, they tried to jump routes and did a couple of things like that ended up allowing Dallas to make chunk plays that normally the type of defense you would play on that wouldn't. So sometimes when you're, behind and trying to make something happen on defense, you make mistakes because you're doing that. And so I think that what we saw with the Cowboys scoring that many points and scoring basically what looked at will, it was more of a mirage than was reality.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And like I said, if Brady doesn't throw that interception in the first quarter, I think the complex of that game might have been different. It might have been a closer game. Dallas still played well enough. I think they still would have won the game. Yeah, exactly. But I don't think it would have been a blowout the way it was with the game 31-14. So I think here this is a different type of Brady. And everyone's talking about Dallas trying to get revenge from last year's loss when San Francisco went into Arlington and won. But San Francisco is the hottest team in the NFL. And it wouldn't shock me if San Francisco wins it all, to be honest with you. And right now, it's their defense. They've held 14 opponents to 19 points or less. And you got to remember, there's also a short week for Dallas. They played on Monday. They haven't had much preparation yet. San Fran played on Saturday. And people don't pay attention to the preparation. But it's very important to have those extra day or two. And I give that an edge. Not that they need an edge here, because I give the edge on San Francisco on both sides of the ball, even on offense with Purdy at quarterback.
Hey, Joe, one quick final thing and I'll shut up. On the 49ers, with Kittle and McCaffrey, they can keep the game. They can play ball possession. and they can limit the amount of times that Dallas gets the ball and frankly shorten the game. Is that why you are hanging with that 3-point and staying on the under? Because they have a tendency, the 49ers do have a tendency of milking the clock. They have 6, 7, 8-minute drives just about every time they get the ball.
Well, I just go by their defense, and San Francisco has put up so many points here. They put up 41 against Seattle, 38 against Arizona, 37 against the Raiders, 37 against the Commanders, who have a good defense, and the Commanders needed that game, and they put up 37 against them. I mean, this San Francisco team, they can score, they can control the clock, and I think that's what, Shanahan's going to look to do because, he's not going to want to get into a shootout, even though he has the weapons to do it. But when you have a running back like McCaffrey, he's the neutralizer here. And ever since they got McCaffrey, they haven't lost the game. And I don't think they will on Sunday. I think San Fran rolls.
To your point, I'm sorry, Amedeus, I just one quick thing. To your point on the defense, the 49ers this year have had some of the shortest drives because of the defense turning the ball over than any other team in the NFL. So I'm going to shut up, Amedeus, go for it.
Joe, I know, we have the show coming up, and we do talk a little Premier League. You got, the Bundesliga about this week. We talked a little bit today about this game on Saturday, the El Sacico, the West Ham and Everton. You got, two teams that are both terrible and they're pretty even. And you have one team that is plus 410 in Everton and West Ham at minus 141. I mean, I know we talk about that. Tune in to ESPN tomorrow morning to listen to it. But are you more on these teams with the value in a game like this, where it looks like it's pretty even?
Yeah, in soccer, I found to get a good ROI, and those of you that are listening, not sure about the ROI, return on investment here. And Sean, you and I had talked about this game here, and it'll be played in Stratford. I mean, the under in this game has come in 7 of the last 8 matches between these two teams, and Everton playing, getting plus 410. I think you have to play Everton in this game here because you're getting good value. If you're looking for a good value bet with both teams matching up evenly, Everton comes in 3, 6, and 10. West Ham 3, 4, 3, and 12. With Everton plus 410, and with so much on the line here, who's going to get relegated, right? We're going to go. I like the under in this game here, but my bigger play, I like Everton plus the 400, plus 410. Great value.
Definitely. All right.
So let me give you a shameless plug for anybody not in the New York area. You can listen to ESPN Radio New York on either the ESPN app, which you can download to your phone anywhere in the world, or on TuneIn Radio. So no matter where you are, and I know a lot of you guys are all over the place, and you still want to listen to the show, which you should, on both Saturday and Sunday, all you have to do is download the app, and then you can find ESPN New York, and you can find you guys.
And they can also follow us on Twitter. My Twitter handle is @JoeWizSports. We put up free picks on there every day, 7 days a week. I'm going to be going up on Twitter here in about 10 minutes @JoeWizSports. I'm going to have a free winner in basketball for tonight, and of course a huge basketball card tomorrow. So we'll be talking about that all. Anyone listening in, 98.7 FM in New York on Saturday and Sunday mornings. And guys, listen, I appreciate having me on, and hopefully we can do it again, and hopefully people make some money this weekend.
Travel safely, Joe. Thanks for coming.
Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great day.
Bye.
Go Wiz.
The man himself, the man, the character.
Let's go. That's a Brock Purdy guy right there.
Yep.
It's interesting. He you know what? He sent me the picture last night, or said he had a guy last night. He gave out Idaho State +3, Cal Irvine money line. Cal Irvine was a dog last night. You see that the scores were there from last night. I didn't check them out. Let's see. I think Cal Irvine won top 24.
They did.
Yeah, they won. What was the score? I know they played late. I know somebody was on Oregon State, but he gave out them and he gave out also the Sixers. So they, went 3-0 with his basketball plays last night. Cal Irvine, Idaho Idaho won outright as a dog. There's Bellarmine winning again. Trying to find that score. I know it was late. Usually this is Bulu, the Capping Girl. Idaho State won outright as a dog, 65-61. And Irvine won outright as a dog at home against Hawaii, 76-68. So I guess his guy had a lot of money on those and hit the parlay as well. So big score there. But yeah, Joe's very good at college basketball. He's like Bulu, the Capping Guru from a long time ago. So, but Joe's also very good at football as well. So,
and the good thing with him is he's also very detail oriented. So you get a little bit more information.
That's right.
It's all good. Hey, I don't know if you guys saw it, but as we continue to plot our way through the Australian Open, last night Andy Murray played a 5+ hour match. 4 hours into the match, he has to go to the bathroom, and he'd already had 2 breaks, and the official said, no, you can't go. And Murray goes, now, seriously, we played for 4.5 hours. You're telling me I can't go to the bathroom? And the official said no. So, I mean, yeah, the game went on, and it was a mess. But at the end of the day, we saw Andy Murray win the longest game in Australian Open history. Prior to that, the longest one was 4 hours and I think 31 or 32 minutes. So they broke the 5 hour mark. Question: you think that in a case like that, you should basically allow maybe a break and then come back and finish it?
I would just peed on the court, man. I would have just. He's Andy Murray, Sir Andy Murray. He's
right.
Going to lose his certain knighthood. Just pee on the court at that point. You're gonna
that's true.
No, I wouldn't have let him go. I'm glad the ump told him no. I think that's karma coming back to bite him in the ass. He was one of the players last year who was at the forefront of the rule change because of Tsitsipas' bathroom breaks. So you know what? Now it's coming back to bite you. You didn't want bathroom breaks, so piss your pants. Right. I don't know what else
Don't
to tell
drink.
you.
That's that.
You wanted to get rid of bathroom breaks.
You can't. They do stuff thinking it's never going to affect them, and then it affects them, and then they cry about it. I deal with that all the time.
And they bitch about it. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that's probably why the ump said that. Probably why the ump said no to him. Like, hey, a year ago you were bitching about Tsitsipas' bathroom breaks, and now you want one. Finish the last set.
Yeah, it's a Monty Python skit. No bathroom for you.
Yeah, I don't know. This is just karma to me. I find it a bit funny, but there was some big upsets last night. Nori's out.
Yeah.
Zverev got eliminated the other day. The day I placed the future on him, he loses.
So the top part of the bracket, everybody is seeded except for Lehec.
Lehecka. He beat
Nori.
Yeah, I think he was the one that beat Nori.
But he's going to play Auger Alcime now. But Tsitsipas plays Sinner, and Korda plays Hurkacz, and Nishioka plays Kachkanov. The top part of the bracket is without Nadal in the bracket is interesting, and then the bottom half, there's going to be some some chaos. There's going to be really Agut is one of the seeds could go through. There's going to be a seed in Dimitrov and Djokovic could go through. Deminor can go through, and then the other ones. But there's going to be an unseeded fourth round match between Popper, Shelton, Wolf, Momo there. There's going to be a bunch of unseeded players getting through, so it could be that the bottom half of the draw could be pretty interesting. And Djokovic is there with his injury, so we'll see. That's going to be interesting today against Dimitrov. I think that's he's going to test him. So, but if Djokovic can get through that, he might be in decent shape here because he's gonna in that quarter he might be facing an unseeded player. So
It's possible. What was I going to ask about the with regard to the Andy Murray? Going back to Andy Murray for a minute, it was kind of funny because the chair umpire turns to him and said, "You know the rules." So that was kind of like a backhanded, "Hey, bud,
It was a shot. Clearly, that's a shot at him.
You wanted it. So
okay, you were at the forefront of changing the rules, so
right.
Now you want to go back against it.
You know the rules, and the rules say no. So sorry, buddy, it ain't happening." So there you go. But yeah, it's going to be a good weekend for tennis too. But you're going to have to stay up late for that stuff because the Open is played at night here. If you get lucky, you can get up for like 3:30, 4 o'clock in the morning, still see some games. Although the game with Murray, I saw it. I turned on the TV at 6 a.m. and there he was. So it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, there was some going till 8 in the morning still. They were in like they were in the last parts, I guess.
The end of the end of the end.
Yeah, the last few sets. Those are the stragglers. They've also had a lot of rain delays the last few days, so I think they're a bit behind right now.
Yeah, I mean, it has they have a top on center court, but they don't on the outskirts. So anything played out off the court there is going to get them. It's not going to get you anything.
Yeah.
So there's that. But plenty to do this weekend, plenty to watch, plenty to have fun with. Some final thoughts, boys, before we get out of here on a Friday.
Nah, just ready to watch some soccer and stuff, and probably some basketball. Not as basketball, sorry, some football maybe tomorrow night. Still waiting for my tickets from anybody. To be honest, I talked to Joe about that yesterday because he had the tickets. He gave them up. It's too much. Like you go down to it's a whole. You go down there 4 o'clock. Tailgate, you missed the first game, you're not home till 2 a.m. You're waking up the next morning for stuff, and it's just it's kind of a mess. So I watch it at home.
The other thing too is you have those basic 4-minute stoppages of play, whatever. Just say you're there going, what's going on? There's nothing going on except for a commercial break. So there you go. It's going to be interesting. All right. Well, look, we had a lot of fun talking about the NFL, which was good, the ELP, and even a little tennis and bathroom breaks. So, we covered every topic that you could possibly want. So have a nice weekend, everybody. We will see you on Monday, and we'll have an opportunity to kind of do a post-mortem on what happened over the weekend, and I'll look into what will be championship week as they get ready for the AFC and NFC championships. So thanks so much for joining us. If you haven't joined us in the past and this is your first time, welcome on Twitch or on YouTube or Twitter or Facebook or wherever you're watching us. Do us a favor. It costs nothing to do it. Please hit the bell, subscribe, and also hit the like button. We're likable people. We should get at least 3 of those. So anyway. Thanks, guys, for joining us. And if you're getting this on a replay, it's still good all day long and even until tomorrow morning. So plenty of time to look. All right? Okay, boys. Until Monday, have a wonderful weekend. We'll see you on Monday.